Yo, 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 yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show, man. It is 420. We know what that means. It's a multi-meaning for today, man. Multi-meaning for today. Happy Easter to everybody. Already saw the comments coming in. Appreciate you guys for sure. We got a day 2 of the NBA Dream. And I bought a special guest with me as well. He hasn't graced the show in quite a while, but always good to talk hoops with Dream, man. Somebody who dissects the game from a player prop perspective, at a crazy different level. If you don't know who Dream is, tell them about yourself, Dream. How's things been going with you since the last time we talked, bro?
Yeah, man. First off, appreciate the invite. Happy Easter Sunday. It's so crazy. I did not even know it's 420 today. What a plug. What a time to be back on the show. For those who don't know, I'm Dream. And my channel is Blunt Money Bets. But yeah, man, ChrisBeCappinn, one of my GOATs, him and Ski Profit, man. I started on his spaces. I started my own channel. I do mostly props. I've been on the show a few times. You've been on my show a few times, NBA, WNBA. And I'm just happy to be on, man. If you want all of my plays, I'm in the Discord, the Cap Collective Discord, where I give out all my plays there. But I'm also active on the timeline, and I give out looks every day on my channel for free as well, man. So I'm ready to break down the slate with you. Kind of ugly, but ready to break it down.
Yeah, sometimes it can be, I tell people all the time, Dream, like sometimes it can be difficult to try to find value on a these lines are sharp, right? Like we get more data, the books get more data, right? So the lines are gonna be sharp, and it can be difficult, man. It can definitely be difficult. And I'm gonna be honest, I haven't even placed a bet yet. So I'm gonna talk a couple out with you, Dream. And then we'll talk about, we'll end up, talking about what we like, and we'll do a quick recap and get out of here. It don't have to be a long show just because it's gonna be a good show. So we'll see what that looks like. But yeah, with no further ado, let's just jump into it. Yesterday, I always start with a quick recap. Yesterday, and real quick before we talk about yesterday, I did make I guess you can call it an overnight video. It dropped last night at about 11:30. The 4 bets that I placed yesterday were actually reactionary bets. Based on what we saw in game ones already, for series prices. So I did do a video last night for people who are interested. Go check out the future bet. I placed 4 future bets last night, and there is a 4 future bets that I absolutely love. And they're, like I said, they're reactionary bets. 2 of them are reactionary bets, 2 of them are not. So check those out. As far as yesterday, I took the Bucks +6. I felt like an idiot when I saw Kyle Kuzma, just out there, cardio Kuzma. But Bucks ended up fighting back. I think, somebody gonna have to come along for the ride with Giannis, because he showed up by himself yesterday. So Bucks +6 was a loser. It was what I added late. The Clippers +3. We talked about it in the video last night, man. Thank God for Norman Powell. The Clippers shouldn't even been in that spot, but thank God for Norman Powell yesterday. And Kevin Porter Jr., he did come along for the ride with Giannis yesterday. He did go up and over his 9.5 points at the end of the third quarter. So profitable day. We'll take it, and we'll just keep it moving forward. So I don't really have. Well, you know what? I'll go back real quick. Let's just talk about. We will do it. Before we get into the Heat and the Cavs, let's go back real quick. Let's talk about, as we always do, let's talk about jaXon. So I'm more interested in, and for people who are new to the show, jaXon is an AI sports betting software tool, handicapping machine that you can utilize to help you with some bets. I'm more interested in unders for the playoffs, because we're going to see a lot of unders. That's just, pace will slow down, defenses will start to play well, and we'll see some unders for sure. So I was more interested in what the unders were going to be. The prompt for jaXon this morning was, what are the 2 best under prop market bets based on 70% plus historical success rate, with the pace expected to slow down for NBA basketball today. So jaXon tells me that jaXon likes, Corey Joseph under 8.5 points, rebounds, and assists for Corey Joseph. Says he's went under in 66% of his games so far this season. His last 25, he's under in his last 20 games, under hit rate 25%, versus Boston, 100% hit rate this season. It says he struggled to make significant impact against the Celtics, averaging just 3.5 points, rebounds, and assists in his 2 matchups this season. Boston's defense is among the best in the league. Their ability to be able to limit secondary scores like Joseph makes his under prop highly appealing. But the Celtics' defensive intensity expected to ramp up for the playoffs. Joseph is unlikely to surpass this line. So bet Corey Joseph under on his points, rebounds, and assists for today. He do got a tough matchup for sure. So we'll leave it with Corey Joseph to go under. I know I said 2, but the other one I actually like a lot. So I'm not gonna mention that. I actually like the over. So we'll talk about that when we get to that game specifically. But that is jaXon, one of the resources that I use to, to handicap player props and sides and totals and all that good stuff. So check jaXon out. Let's get into this first matchup, James. So let me slide over to my notes. We got the Miami Heat. They will be on the road in Cleveland today after pulling off. The Heat made me some money the other day. I might have to go get a Davion Mitchell jersey too. Dude is an absolute dog. And I needed everything that, he gave the Heat in the fourth quarter and in overtime, and the defense that he was able to play on trade to slow him down. But now you give Miami Dream in a really rough spot, man. This is a Miami team that not only are they the first team to win as a 10 seed in the play-in. No other 10s. I think 10 seeds were like 0-3, 0-4 in the play-in. But they had 1 day of rest, right? You got to get straight on the plane. They had to pack, right? I heard them talk about it after the game. They packed like as if they knew they were going to win, because they wouldn't have had time to fly back to Miami to grab stuff and then fly to Cleveland, right? So only 1 day. What I'm saying is only 1 day of rest, because they played on Friday. Now we're talking about Sunday, so very quick turnaround. The Cavs have 6 days of rest in this spot, Dream. One of the things I wanted to look at was how those teams typically play, right? So teams with more than 5 days rest, the Cavs have 6, facing a team with less than 2 days rest, the Heat have 1. They're 18-7 against the spread, going all the way back to 2004, right? They win by an average of 13 points per game. Their opponents typically struggle to score the basketball in this spot as well. One thing I looked at, and I'll just note it real quick, the last 5 times that this has happened, and this dates all the way back to the 2021 season, the opponent, which would be the Miami Heat, they're not scoring above 94 points in this spot, Gene. You got a Heat and Hawks spot where the Heat held the Hawks to 91 points, beat them 115-91 back on April the 17th, 2022. You do got a Bucks team that lost to the Miami Heat. This was when Jimmy went out there and pretty much did whatever he wanted to Drew Holiday. I know we remember that one. So the Heat have won in this spot, but then outside of that, you got a Timberwolves team that barely got to the playoffs. They went to Denver and lost that game 109-80. So they lost by 29. They only scored 80 points. The Celtics smoked the Heat in this spot, beat them 114-94 at the beginning of last season's playoffs. When the Heat, of course, did the same thing that they did today, only scored 94 points in that game. And then we saw the Pelicans get absolutely steamrolled by the Thunder in this spot as well last season. Not steamroll, but they only scored 92 points in that game. So my point being, Dream, is that for the last 5 teams to stay under their team total, and it hasn't even really been close. They, like I said, they scored 91, 80, 94, and 92. We know that the Heat gonna play, Dream. They gonna play, and if they show up, it's typically for a half. Which half? The first half, right? They're not a great second half team. They can definitely let go of the rope in this spot. With all that being said, James, it's still rust versus rest, right? When it comes to, the way that these teams have been, how much they've had to play recently. What you thinking about this one, James?
Well, as I was listening to your team total point, I went and looked at Miami's team total. Because they struggle to score as it is. And their team total is 101.5. So they're on to us. It's going to be a low team total. That is amazing. I'm happy you told me that, because that's probably going to keep me off. My initial thought was Miami, just because Miami covered this line all 3 games during the season versus them. Now I know it is a new season, it's the playoffs, but I'm pretty sure they covered this 12.5 all 3 games. They even beat them once this season. The last time they played, I I don't think Tyler Hero played that game.
He was out that game, Jane, because I took the over, and I remember Tyler Hero, he had like a little stomach bug or something, and he ended up not playing, and I just let the override, and of course they couldn't score the basketball. So yeah, I remember them. They did cover though. Bam went crazy in that game. Bam had 34 in that game without him. Yeah, and they did cover. They were getting 13.5, very similar number to today.
The thing that comes to my mind is maybe a under or the Heat. Now, it's tough for me to take the Heat. If anything, maybe like a Heat first quarter, which I don't like playing, maybe a first half, because thinking they've been already their backs to the wall. They've already been playing like playoff games. They don't have a lot of rest, but they've been playing playoff games, and you're going against a team that hasn't played, like you said, in 6 days. If you look at like the Lakers, the Bucks, those are two teams yesterday that just simply looked like they were not ready for the playoffs. Like they just came right out and got punched in the mouth. Their defensive intensity wasn't there. I can see Cleveland maybe being a step slow, maybe not being as focused, maybe having to kind of get it in gear after a first or second time out, and that may give Miami a chance to stick around. If I had to go though, if I had to take a side for this game, I would definitely go Miami and maybe under for the total. But I don't have anything strong, and I haven't played anything for this game. As far as props, and I have a little more digging to do, but Wiggins' rebounds are out there, I think at 5.5, 4.5, 5.5. He's got 8 and 9 rebounds his first 2 games back in the play-in, 35 and 43 minutes. So you know Spo's going to play him. His rebounds could be a good look. Maybe his points plus rebounds. Bam has scored, well, first of all, Bam has got 2 threes every game versus this team this season. 2, 2, and 3 threes. So that's obviously something that he tries to put some of an emphasis on. But I'm trying to look here. His 15 points, it's a minus 230. It would be a heck of a parlay piece. Bam has had really good success in his career, especially the last 10 games versus this team, versus this front line. So I would be probably looking at Bam. Tyler's threes are at over 2.5. He's got 3 threes his last 4 times playing this team. We know the Cavs don't defend the 3 or guards the best. So maybe you want to look at Tyler Hero threes possibly, but nothing strong for me. Davion Mitchell points are out there at 10. You know he's going to get a bunch of minutes, and you know he's probably going to be on Darius Garland. Garland's points are out there at 16.5. One more thing too, Darius Garland has played off night 9 times. He's got 6 assists in 8 of those 9 games. His assist line is at 6.5 plus money. So, but that's really all I have for this game. Nothing set in stone, but those are the spots that I was looking at. But yeah, nothing set in stone.
I like him, James. I like him a lot, man. I'm not gonna lie. The way I kind of see the game going, I think a lot of people are probably riding the Heat off, and I get it. I wouldn't be betting on the Heat in this spot. I think it's a terrible spot for the Heat. I don't think that we've seen a team make the play-in tournament, whether a 10 seed or not. I already said they're the first 10 seed, but a 10 seed or not, I don't think we've seen a team make the playoffs and then make them in overtime. You got to factor in the overtime, and you got to fly to Cleveland. So I think the strongest look, if you like Miami, you know, any like far as spread goes, I think you take them early, just because it is that rest versus rust factor. Cleveland. Miami, I actually bet their first half team total over against the Atlanta Hawks the other day at 56.5, and they got the 62, 63 with no problem. It wasn't until the third quarter when they started to ratchet up a little bit. And, you know, just because it's rust versus rest. And I think going back to what LJ said in the comments, shout out to my guy, LJ. What up, LJ? What up, Mark, as well? I'm not going to be able to go through the comments as much as I typically do today, but LJ put it right here. Miami 13-3 ATS last 16 in the first quarter with their starters. So it would not surprise me if we see a little rust here from the Cleveland Cavaliers, being that they haven't played, you know, basketball in the last 7 days. So yeah, I think so. I think as the game goes on, if Miami covers the first quarter and covers the first half, and it's a 4 or 5 point game heading into halftime, I do think Cleveland will get it together, be able to win. And take them, you know, on that live number. So that's my thought process here. Chad says Cleveland about to roll. A lot of love in the chat. Appreciate you, Jeff. Appreciate everybody else that's shouting out love as well. What up to my guy, Mark? What up, Bissy? Somebody said getting Dream on 420 is crazy, Chris.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, what up, Lightbear? Appreciate all the guys, man. Crip Key says he covered without Hero in that last game. They did. They absolutely did. I talked about, Davion Mitchell, Bam having 34 points in that game. What up to my guy, Tariq? He says, want to live bet the Heat with the higher spread. I actually think that I don't think we're going to see too much of a higher spread, though, Tariq. I think the spread will get lower, and then you take the Heat. You take the Cavs versus, wanting to bet them live, but we'll see how it goes, man. Appreciate you though, Lightbearer. Appreciate that for sure. Brian also, what up to my guy, Brian? Brian, we got to talk, man. And Ski too, because we all Laker fans here. It look good. And thankfully, we don't have to talk about the Lakers on this stream. We don't have to talk about it because they don't play again today. So we'll dissect that game and start looking towards that one tomorrow. What up to my guy, Justin, as well. All right, we did a pretty good job on this one. I didn't really look into player props. I do think, going back to what Dream said, as far as player props go, I think Davion's going to be a disruptor, man. I absolutely believe he's a hard-nosed defender. You can tell he's fearless. I like Davion Mitchell a lot. He definitely stole some cool points in that game. He got some cool points for sure in that game. Being able to slow down Trae Young the way that he did would not surprise me at all if Darius Garland, if he's guarding Garland, I'd be looking towards the unders on Garland. That's just my thought process, man. Definitely my thought process. On the opposite side, I do agree with Dream as well. Tyler Hero, they don't have a guard, in my opinion, that's going to be able to slow down Tyler Hero with Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland being smaller guards. So Miami Heat team total under 101.5. If I had to make one official bet in this game, the second play would be Miami probably first quarter or first half. That's the way I would play. I would try to get in and get out with Miami, thinking that they run out of gas in the second half here. So a couple trends real quick before we move on to the next one. I wrote these in my notes, so just sharing some notes. Let's see. So gave you guys those numbers. Oh, so here we go. So Miami has overtime. Miami had Miami. All right, so Miami 12-5 to the under since 2018 in game ones of the first round. They also 13-5 to the under when they played at the rest disadvantage this season, including 6-1 to the under if they're a dog with the rest disadvantage as well. So, like I said, I think Miami can hold on early. I'll probably be looking towards the under. I think Miami's gonna slow the pace down, and I think Cleveland will try to play fast. So whoever can dictate pace, I think will have a good chance to find some success in this game. I think Miami can slow it down, though. We've seen them be able to do that to teams that don't necessarily want to play slow before. So that's my thought process on this one. Have not played the game yet, though. But one top play would be Miami team total under 101.5. Secondary look would be Miami first quarter, first half. That's the way I would play it. And you can get a first half real quick. First quarter, I'm sorry. You get a first quarter with Miami plus 4.5 right now on FanDuel. And plus 4.5 if you got access to Hard Rock. They got the best number at minus 110. So I think we did a pretty good job there, Dream. Appreciate you for that handicap, and shout out to everybody that's dropping looks in the comment section as well. Let's go over to one of the heavyweights, I guess we could call them, the Boston Celtics. I did put a future in on the Boston Celtics. Like I said, check that video out. If you joined late, go back and check that video out that I did last night with 4 future looks. That I think all are going to cash. I think they're going 4-0 for sure. I love all 4 of those bets. So here, Dream, we got Orlando, Boston. Looks like the line, just double checking it real quick. Yeah, it's still 13.5. Total has continued to drop. This is all the way down there. It looks like the consensus is 205.5 now. So the books are expecting Boston to come out here, play a slow-paced game, get a win. Initial look for me on this game was towards the under. I mean, it's really, really simple. Orlando is the second slowest paced team in the NBA. Boston, I think, is bottom 3 in pace as well. Neither one of these teams get out and run. We should see really good defenses. They're, of course, both top 5 defensive rated teams on the full season as well. Orlando is a defense that loves to run teams off the 3-point line, which is one of the reasons why we played Zachary Risacher to go under his points prop when they played against Orlando in that first play-in game. So Orlando is really good. I think they're number 1 both in opponent 3-point frequency and opponent 3-point accuracy. Boston has taken and making more threes than anybody in the world ever, of course, right? Especially in this season. So, I mean, I think that it's a collision course. The problem and the reason why Boston is laying such a hefty number here, outside of them being the division defending champions, is because Orlando's offense, Dream, is really struggles at times. Paolo Banchero is an absolute man-child. He's a beast. But does Orlando have enough offense to be able to keep this within the number here, Dream? What do you think about Orlando, Boston? You can jump. And also, so real quick before I kick it to you, Dream, the total, the reason why I didn't bet it is because I got to the number way too late. This total actually opened at 212.5. It's all the way down to 205.5. I hate getting the worst of the number. It's come down 7 points already. And as far as the spread goes, the money came in on Boston ASAP. This went from 11 to 11.5 to 12 to 12.5 to 13 and went all the way up to 14. And now it's back down to 13.5. What are your thoughts, James? Any player props, any size total looks in this game?
Man, first off, I don't want no part of this side or total. Anything, actually the under. The under. I can see it. It's crazy because the 13-point spread with a 206 total is outrageous.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe an underlook. My favorite prop in this game is definitely Cole Anthony. It's not just that he had a great game last game, but this is a game where they're gonna need offense, and nobody comes off that bench to score really but Cole Anthony. Everyone else is like a glue guy or defender, or hopefully they can make a shot, but Cole's coming in there to get buckets. So Cole Anthony's history against the Celtics as well. His last 10 games, he scored double digits. His line is at 7.5. He scored double digits in 8 of his last 10 games versus the Celtics. And most of those games, he's at the minutes he'll get tonight. He's only played over 29 minutes in 4 of those games. So 6 of those games, I'll just read them out really quick. 22 minutes, 18 points, 17 minutes, 10 points, 20 minutes, 17 points, 23 minutes, 18 points. And he had a couple games where he didn't score 10 points. But yeah, like I said, I would be looking toward Cole Anthony. I think even in a blowout, he'll be in at the end of the game, possibly getting buckets as well. So I would look towards Cole Anthony. And on the Boston side, Porzingis. Orlando, they don't like to help. They like to play people straight up, which means if Porzingis get Cole Anthony or Corey Joseph on him, they probably help. Yeah, they probably gonna be like, all right, go ahead, shoot right over the top, especially in the post. They're gonna be like, all right. And if they do start helping, then they're gonna get killed with threes. Their best bet. Orlando tends to play Boston okay because they don't help. They just switch everything. So I would have to look at Porzingis, who's also played pretty well versus Orlando. Now I know he's only played 4 games versus Orlando for this Boston team, but 23, 17, 15, and 9 in 22 minutes. But the last game he played him, he had 23 points in 23 minutes. So I'll be looking at Porzingis's lines. That's about it. This game is ugly. Maybe Anthony Black, ultimate glue guy. Maybe it's PRA, something like that. But Celtics, man, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know who Celtics, to be honest. It could be anybody, but I like Porzingis.
Yeah. All right. So I want to go through a couple trends real quick and then talk about a player prop that I'm looking at in this one as well. Real quick, I want to go back to this comment from LJ. LJ always got the numbers, bro. Love LJ, man. He says Boston since the 2017. This when they was putting KD out the club in the Eastern Conference. Boston since 2017, 18, 11-4 ATS in game ones at the crib. They're 12-2-1 against the spread in the first quarter at home in those games as well. So I also had in my notes, similar to LJ, since the 2018 season, Boston 5-1 to the under in game ones. They've allowed an average of 97 points per game. They've held 5 of their 6 opponents under their team total. Last year, they beat down the Miami Heat, like we talked about, 114-94 as a 14.5-point favorite, winning that game by 20. Since 2014, favorites of 8.5 points or more in the first round are 60, 36-1. That's 62.5%. We saw this line 8 times in the playoffs last season. Those teams finished 6-2 against the spread. Since the 2018 season, when we're talking about seeds, the number 7 seed, that are double-digit dogs are 2-8 against the spread, 1-9 straight up. They've only averaged 102 points per game. So it's a lot of a love towards under bet. Like I said, I just didn't get the best number. Last one, historical trend. If we just go back from 2019, first round game ones, they averaged between 210, 220 points, with the unders hitting about 61% of the time in game ones if the total is less than 218, which this total is a lot lower. So as much as I wanted to get there, I think the numbers are about right. I think the Orlando Magic team total is about 97.5. I do struggle with, seeing them being able to score that many points. Like I said, I think this game's going to be played slow. It just continues to drop though. Or the Magic team total actually 95.5 now. So I want no parts of that, but that's the way I was thinking about playing this one, is a team total under. Look here. I actually even asked jaXon about it. I asked jaXon just a simple prompt of thoughts on the Magic team total over or under. And jaXon tells me that the Magic only average 105 points per game during the regular season, ranking 29th in the league offensively. The last 10 games, the Magic have scored under 100 points in 4 of those contests, including a 96-point game against Boston back on April the 9th, which was pretty much a throwaway game. Boston boasts the 4th best defensive rating in the NBA, allowing just 107 points per game. They held the Magic to 76 points in the most recent matchup, which I think is pretty irrelevant because the starters weren't playing in that game. In the 3 regular season meetings, which you got to take these with a grain of salt as well, the Magic averaged 92.7 points per game against the Celtics. None of these games exceeded a combined total of 215 points, reinforcing the likelihood of a low-scoring affair here. So I think the last one was 172 points. So I think this game still could go under. Boston, I don't think will need to score 111 points, which is what their team total is. So full game under, team total under. Magic play super slow. I don't think that they're going to be able to score the basketball. Looking for the Celtics to really come out and hunker down. I don't know what the game plan is going to be, Drake, in this one, Dream. But I think I could see Joe Mazzulla either doing one or two things, right? I think you let Paolo go off, right? You play Paolo one-on-one. You don't help at all, and you just say, you know what, Paolo, you go out there, you get your 35, right? Nobody else is going to get anything, right? We're going to lock everybody else up. And then you wonder who's going to be those other secondary scorers. And in my opinion, if that's the game plan, Boston can absolutely run away with this one. Or you help off Paolo, right? And then you try to let the other guys, and you dare the Orlando Magic, the worst three-point shooting team in the NBA, to go out there and knock down looks. And I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do that consistently throughout the course of a whole 48-minute game as well. This was a team that, even though they smoked the Atlanta Hawks in their last game, scored 120 points, they still shot 20, I think it was 28% from the three-point line in that game. I'm not expecting Orlando to score the basketball. So I do kind of agree with this. I think Boston comes to play the game for sure. I also just love what I'm reading from Jaylen Brown as well, talking about never going in the same lake twice. If people had a chance to read up on those comments, pretty much what he was saying is that last season is done. Like we won, but that has nothing to do with this season. We're where our feet are right now. We're not dwelling or even considering what we did last year. It's a brand new season, so I do agree with that. 77 Figure says this game is series just cardio for the Celtics. Hate this number. It's likely to be the spread all series, and I kind of agree with that as well. I do think the Boston Celtics, you're gonna be laying up a hefty penny with the Celtics if you do like them in these spots. Mark says screw it. He laid the 11.5 with Boston and OKC, like both of the teams to get the other teams out the way, and I couldn't talk anybody off. Taking the Celtics, especially if you could have got that 11.5 number. Marks is also looking at Boston to sweep in this series. Thinks they potentially don't score at all. So let's talk about the player prop that I was actually looking at in this game, and it was Derek White. Man, I think Derek White is in a really good spot today. Like Dream said, it kind of it's scary to bet on a player because all of them are available. But when I was going through the numbers last night, Dream, one thing that stood out to me was Derek White plays well when all the other starters play, right? You got Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Kristaps Porzingis. He still goes out there and gets his number. So the number for Derek White, I was actually looking at his points plus assists. Is the numbers, they kind of go off the chart. His assists sitting at 4.5, it is juiced to the over. His points prop sitting at 13.5, it is juiced to the over. You combine both of them, it's 18.5 and you can get this at minus 115 on DraftKings right now. The reason why I like it, it's a couple of different reasons why I like it. First, I saw Pinnacle had it at a worse price. So that tells me that some of these other, sports books be lacking with their pricing. And that's always one of the first indicators. But also, you just look at Derek White game logs. He's been the guy. And I do think that if Orlando does start to scramble and, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are the playmakers, it's always going to be the beneficiary of a guy like Derek White that can shoot 40% from the three-point line. So I do like Derek White. I think he can facilitate in this game as well. I know Orlando don't give up a ton of assists, but at 4.5, Derek White's going up and over this number in 9 of his last 10 games. So I do like Derek White a lot. As far as the head-to-head matchup, which I didn't mention, I think the reason why I didn't mention it is because it's kind of irrelevant. Tatum only played in one of those games. The last game, Boston was on the second leg of a back-to-back after beating the Knicks. They didn't need that game. So I know I'm saying a lot, but I'm just trying to give you guys some thoughts on why, let you guys know why I didn't, play this one. I know Orlando covered and beat Boston. I think they're 2-1 straight up and against the number, but that's not this. I'll leave it there. I do think we get a fired up Celtics team in this game. So lean Derek White up and over his points and assists at 18.5, but I didn't bet this one either. Did not bet this one either. Let's go Memphis and OKC, Dream. So to start this handicap, another game that, I do have a future look in this game. So if you joined late, check the video out from last night. Memphis, OKC. I got a future that I absolutely love, man. I don't know if a lot of people gonna love it, but I did put a future in that I absolutely love in this spot. So, Dream, I'm up on Friday night, and I'm tired, man. I'm really tired, but I stayed up because I low key wanted to grab OKC as soon as this line came out. I thought OKC was in a great spot against Memphis, and I know we can go back to kind of what we talked about with the Heat in the Cavaliers, because this is a 1-8 matchup as well. That rush versus rest factor. But this Thunder team, Dream, they have had no problem all season with the Memphis Grizzlies. I think, just jumping right into the handicap, I think, Ja Morant having to get that injection into his ankle, and you look good with that injection because it kind of like it makes you back to your normal self, right? Your pain tolerance is all the way through the roof because you feel good. You can't even feel the pain. So you see him catch the oop, and he got his whole chin above the rim and all that good stuff. It's not happening against OKC, in my opinion, here, Dream. I think OKC absolutely mops the floor with the Memphis Grizzlies in this spot. I did get a 12.5. I didn't send it out because I was doing a live stream. So it's kind of a personal play. But I think Memphis loses this game by double digits, of course. A couple different reasons why. When I look at the Memphis Grizzlies, and then I'll give you guys some trends to support it as well. When I look at the Memphis Grizzlies, Dream, they do two things well. The first thing that the Grizzlies do is they love to get out and run, right? This is a team that's top 3, top 5 in both transition efficiency and frequency on the full season. They love to run. Love to run. OKC not going for it. This has been one of the best, if not the best, transition defense in the NBA. I would argue that Orlando is probably the better of the two as far as transition defenses. But the Thunder won't allow Memphis to get out and run, in my opinion. I think they're going to be turned up in this spot here. The other thing that the Grizzlies do well is the Grizzlies also love to get downhill. Ja Morant loves to live in the paint. Jaren Jackson Jr., a lot of those guys. This is a team that takes more shots at the rim than pretty much any team in the NBA. That's what they like to do. They like to get downhill. Big Zach Edey, all that. I don't think it's happening today. OKC is a top 5 team at protecting the rim and protecting the paint. And now that you got Chet and Isaiah Hartenstein out there with Lou Dort, the rest advantage, I think OKC absolutely mops the floor with the Grizzlies here. So a couple of different things. As far as situationally, league-wide trend, home favorites laying double digits in the first round of the playoffs are 21-2 straight up, 15-8 against the number, at 65% going all the way back to 2004. There's also a heavy under spot, so I do lean Memphis to struggle to score. The team total is 107.5. I do think that they probably end up with about 104 points. So heavy lean towards the under. The under with the home favorite laying double digits is 15-8. That's 65% as well. OKC, double-digit favorites at the crib this season, 23 times. They went 21-2 straight up. They covered 15 of those, 15, 7-1, 68%. And they won the last 5 as a double-digit favorite by 16 or more. They beat the Detroit Pistons by 16 without Cade. They beat Chicago by 28. They beat Memphis by 21. They beat Charlotte by 35. They beat Philly by 33. That was all in the month of March. And you look at the head-to-head matchups. I talked about this one in the breakdown last night, but you look at the head-to-head matchup between these two teams, you will have to go all the way back, Dream, to December the 7th, 2022 to find the last time that the Memphis Grizzlies won a game against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Dillon Brooks was on that team for Memphis, and they beat Memphis. They beat OKC 123-102. They've played 4 times this season. The Thunder have won by 21 in the most recent matchup, 17 in Memphis, 13 in Memphis, and 24 in Memphis. It's just not a good matchup. OKC won and covered all of those numbers as well. And the Thunder actually held the Grizzlies to 104, 103, 106 in 3 of those 4 matchups as well. So I just think that it's a terrible matchup for the Grizzlies. I do think OKC is going to be able to score. So I would even lay the number right now. I'm not going to give it out as an official play because, like I said, I got 12.5 when it first opened. I couldn't find 11.5, but I got 12.5 when it first opened. I would be looking towards the team total here, Dream. Not something that not a game that I looked into player props, but that's why I got Dream on the show, so he can look into player props. Last thing I'll mention, outside of the 4 wins and covers this season, OKC has covered 9 of the last 10 games against the Memphis Grizzlies as well. So this goes back, beyond just this year. It goes back to last year as well. It's just a really tough matchup. The totals are also 8-1-1 to the under as well, because the Grizzlies they typically struggle to score. So all that being said, Dream, how are you looking at this one, Memphis and OKC?
Oh man, I was just listening to your breakdown and doing a little capping on the side. And first of all, I agree with you, and it's probably I might have to split the unit. I was looking at OKC's team total. I think Memphis's defense is awful. I think OKC can do whatever they want. Now it is at 121. It is very high for team total. During the season, they did cover this 3 out of 4 games that they played them. And the game they didn't, they scored 120. So yeah, I agree with you. If you watch people that watch my show, they know I'm not a fan of Memphis. Defensively, Sacramento, Phoenix. I just thought all those teams just gave up on the season. And I was very surprised that Memphis actually beat Dallas. It's just because Dallas couldn't put the ball in the basket. But like you said, this is something different. One thing I do want to speak to with Ja Morant. So the thing that I didn't hear you mention about shots, like it was they played 2 days ago? And when you get that shot, like Chris said, like you feel like you're on top of the world. You don't feel anything. But the next day after that shot, you feel awful because all that pain is back. Like you still was doing something that you shouldn't have been doing on a part of your body that's already hurt. And now the pain medication is gone. So I don't think Ja was great at practice. I'll be very surprised if Ja had a full practice. If he truly had to take injections to play, then I doubt that he had a practice. So with that being said, Ja could be taking another shot, but is Ja Morant going to be taking a shot before every game? One of these games, you're going to see Ja have some remnants of this ankle injury, in my opinion. But even if he was 100%, I would still like OKC. So I'm going to find a way to get there with OKC, either with the spread, the team total, somehow, some way. I know you can get a first half full game money line with them, a -270, which is a pretty good parlay piece on ESPN Bet. On FanDuel, it's like a -330. But where I was looking prop-wise in this game, a couple spots. First off, Jaren Jackson Jr. threes. OKC has been giving up corner threes all year. I can see Jaren Jackson Jr. hitting a couple in the corner. He did just come off of 4 threes last game, I think. So, yeah, most of those were corner threes. Jaren Jackson Jr., Aaron Wiggins. Love Aaron Wiggins. His point prop is at 8.5. You can play his 8 points on FanDuel, which I just played. For half a unit, you can play his 8 points on FanDuel. So go to the alt points and put the OKC money line with that. It's a -131. Aaron Wiggins obviously is a pretty good scorer, but played this team 3 times this year, 16, 26, and 16 points. If you do think this is going to be a blowout, then maybe Aaron Wiggins is in the game toward the end of the game. I also told you he scored 15 plus points against them every game this season. His 15 points right now on FanDuel is a +540 if you just want to throw a little blunt money on it. For those who don't know, blunt money is just a sprinkle. Don't go crazy with it. But yeah, I like Aaron Wiggins today to get a few baskets. Memphis not going to defend the three. Memphis not going to defend anybody as it is. So I'll be looking toward Aaron Wiggins. What else? Ja Morant. If there was anything I was going to play with Ja Morant, and I'll share this trend with you guys if I can find it here. Let's see. All right, give me a second. It's something with Ja assists.
No, take your time. Take your time, Jay. Take your time. Why are you looking for that, James? I'm gonna just go back real quick because you said something at the top of your handicap that I wanted to look a little bit into as well. And that was you talked about that team total here. If people like OKC team total at 120.5 or 121.5 is what I'm looking at right now. Looks like it's consensus. And I see a 122, two 122s out there as well. Oh. I'll tell you guys this, and we've talked about this on the show all season. The Grizzlies are terrible on the road as a dog. They played 21 games, 17 of them have gone over. 17-4 against the spread. 17-4 to the over are the Grizzlies as road dogs. They give up an average of 124.81 points. So they're giving up 125 in this spot. Their last handful of games, they just gave up 121 to the Warriors. They gave up 117 to the Nuggets. So you can see that the defense has been playing a little bit better. But they also played the Thunder in this spot as a road dog. They gave up 125. The Clippers scored 125. We were on the Clippers in that. The Clippers scored 128. We were on the Clippers in that spot. The Kings scored 132. The Cavs scored 129. The Clippers scored 128. So, I mean, I don't need to keep going, but yeah, it's a terrible spot for the Grizzlies. Also, the Grizzlies have only been road dogs at double digits one time this season. That's typically a disrespectful number to give the Grizzlies. In this spot, they got steamrolled by the Thunder as well. 104 to 125. So that team total hitting that spot as well. If you isolate that. Then you look at the opposite side, right? We do our homework on both sides. The Thunder as a double-digit home favorite. In those 23 games, they're 14-9 to the over. They average 124 points. They did score 119 against the Pistons in that last matchup, but against the Bulls, 145. Against the Grizzlies, we just talked about this, 125. The Hornets, 141. The Sixers, 133. The Rockets, 137. The Timberwolves, 128. And I don't think we need to keep going. But yeah, you could say 7 of the last 8 have gone over if you like. That Thunder team total up and over. So yeah, just giving you a little bit more support there as well.
Yeah, that's gonna make me. It's gonna make me get a little closer to it, a little closer to the team total. I do see something in the chat. Somebody said teasing OKC. I'm always against teasers in basketball. But if there was something like a way to tease, I think you can go on FanDuel and get them like each to win by 11 plus. And I think that's like a minus 150, a minus 160. You know what I mean? So maybe that's teasing it, but maybe you can try to find a way to play that. So maybe if you like want to do Boston to win by 11 plus points and it was like a minus 150, then maybe if you wanted to put that with a Cleveland money line just to lower the juice to get it to a minus 115, minus 120, something like that. But generally, you know, I wouldn't be teasing NBA basketball in general. But what I did want to say, Ja Morant has played OKC 13 times in his career. He's got 6 assists in 11 of those 13 games. The 2 games that he did not get 6 assists, he played 26 in 12 minutes. I don't think he's going to play 26 in 12 minutes or 12 minutes tonight. And he played them twice this year. Obviously, they lost both games, but he did have 6 and 7 assists versus them when he played them this year. Ja Morant's assist line is sitting out there at 6, whatever it's worth. So there you go.
Yeah, no, I like that, Jim. I like that a lot. I do think to Dream's point, if there's a path for Memphis in this series and in this game specifically, it is going to be what Dream said as far as the 3-point shot, right? This Memphis, OKC's defense has been great. Don't get it twisted. But towards the end of the season, I mean, they caught the Lakers in those 2 games where the Lakers couldn't miss a 3. The all of a sudden, the Thunder's defense has been a lot better on the interior than it has been from the 3-point line. You look at the full season numbers, and I mentioned these already. They finished 7th in opponent rim frequency. Teams don't even try to get to the rim against them. And they finished number 1 in opponent rim accuracy. And that makes a lot of sense when you got Chet and Isaiah Hartenstein down there, especially with the one-on-one defense that their team is capable of playing. However, they finished the worst 3-point defensive, second worst 3-point defense in the last 5 games. Teams were shooting 43%, and a lot of that was because the Lakers carved them up in those last couple games. So if you do think that, and specifically from that corner 3, like you said, Dream, 21st and 25th in opponent 3-point frequency and accuracy, on the last 5 games. They actually allow the most corner threes in the NBA on the full season as well. So that's the Jaren Jackson Jr. look. If people do like Jaren Jackson Jr. up and over his 3-point prop, but Memphis is not a great 3-point shooting team. They actually shoot the 19th fewest, and they shoot the 13th best percentage. Last 5 games, however, they have crept into the top 10. So that's the only path for Memphis is if they can get hot from the 3-point line. You would need a Luke Kennard, a Desmond Bane, a Jaren Jackson Jr. to all, in my opinion, pretty much go crazy to keep this one within the number. But my money, if I had to place a bet right now, would be on Memphis team total under 107.5. It's actually going up. Under 108.5, it looks like. It's only available on FanDuel. This is why you get the odds screen, the live odds screen on OddsJam. But 108.5 is available on FanDuel. I see this at 107.5 on Caesars, BetMGM, Hard Rock, Fanatics, Bet Rivers. But then I also see it at 106.5 on DraftKings. So when you can get 3 different numbers, you definitely want to line shop and get the best of the numbers. So yeah, I think Memphis absolutely gets steamrolled in this game. I would still be playing the spread. I think OKC team total over, Memphis team total under, which lands right at the spread. You just figure out which one you want to bet. But yeah, I think they get smoked in this spot as well. Any last comments or thoughts on this one, Dre?
Really quick, man. Shop around, man. If you don't think every point matter in the playoffs, you crazy. These lines are sharp as all heck. And ask people, somebody in my chat, they got done dirty by like a Miami team total against Chicago. They had the Miami team total over. Miami scored like 70 points in the first half and didn't cover that team total.
37. They scored 37. There was a 27 point third quarter, 27 point fourth quarter, and a 16 point third quarter. Yeah. So yeah, you're right. 70.7. I think they had 71. And the team total was 109.5, and they finished right at 109 because they can't score in the second half. Yeah, which goes back to my point earlier on the Cavs today. So you can get a live number. I do think they, absolutely run out of gas. They could be running off fumes in this game. Just based on that momentum and energy that they had. And if Cavs came out rusty, especially a 3-point shooting team, it's not going to surprise me if Cavs, those 3-point shots aren't falling, even though Atlanta was able to light them up in that last game. So that's my thought process is there. Okay. All right. Last one, Dream. And it's a good one, man. We got the Warriors and the Rockets. Look like this line has settled at about 1 right now in favor of the Houston Rockets. And this is one of the other spreads where we've seen this flip, right? Future prices. I think open with the Golden State Warriors. Well, the Golden State Warriors actually were the favorite when the series price opened. And now some money has actually come in to push this down from a Golden State minus 195 to a Golden State minus, I see it as low as minus 165 on the season series or the season winner price. But this spread specifically, Jim, I think it opened with the Golden State Warriors as they were 1 point favorites, and then it flipped to them getting a 1.5. To them laying a 1.5, and then the line has just been kind of going all over the place. The biggest market that we've seen is the total, right? And that makes a lot of sense. 2 really good defensive teams. Golden State Warriors are the best defensive team since the All-Star break. This total opened 219. It's all the way down to 213, Jane. I'm thinking it's going to be a pretty slow-paced game. I know Golden State's going to be ramped up in this one. We saw playoff Jimmy in the last game. We also saw in the last head-to-head matchup, Ime Udoka draw up a game plan that held Steph to 2 points, 3 points. I think he hit that 1-3, the miraculous 3 right before the half, and didn't score again at all. So of course they're going to try to be physical with him. We saw, Sengun try to lean into some of that physicality from a Draymond Green. It's a lot of headlines between Draymond and Dylan Brooks going back and forth. How do you see this series, Dream? And how do you see this game playing out? And then talk to me. I want you to go series. I want you to go this game, and I want you to talk to me about player props. What you thinking about this one?
And it's crazy because I put on the timeline almost a unit future play, like a parlay of plus 500, because we got like sweat free bets on DraftKings, so I use my sweat free for that. In this game, I'm like, this series, I'm like, oh hell no, I have no idea. I hate to do it. I love the Rockets. Oh, I love them, but I would have to go Golden State for the series. just you don't bring Jimmy Butler here to lose in the first round of the playoffs. I mean, my goodness, if they lose in the first round of the playoffs, it's over. Wrap it up. And I think that if you look at the last time they played, which is getting a lot of attention when Steph had a really bad game, Jimmy Butler didn't do anything that game. He shot 4 times that game. So I think that you're going to get playoff Jimmy. You're not going to be able to hold Steph down for a series, maybe 2 or 3 games, but all you got to do is win 4. So overall, I will go Golden State. As far as this game, I'm so bad. Talk about getting the worst of the number, but I still do like the under in this game. Every game this season went under, except for one. They played 5 times. 4 of the games went under. 2 or 3 of the games, neither team scored 100 points. I know the last time they played, I gave out like a kind of a blunt money bet with each team to go under 105, and that hit pretty easily or something like that. It was something. But at least twice, these 2 teams have played when neither team has gone over 100 points. I think it's going to be a lot of Ime Udoka going against superstars, which he's really good at. It just always brings me back to that KD series where KD had the worst series of his career with Udoka. It was just physical. That's all it was. They were just – Tatum was all up and KD grilled. KD couldn't move. It looked like 90s basketball. And you may get a little bit of that with Steph tonight, but I think the fact that Steph is a little more face of the league, Steph is a guard, I think that eventually – the calls will go. You'll start getting some guys maybe getting in the penalty early for being a little too physical, and that can help Steph score as well. As far as this game 1 in Houston, I would probably look for Houston to win game 1, but I think this series is going to go 6 or 7. No questions asked. Sengun rebounds, Golden State struggles against centers. They love giving up rebounds to centers. I will look at Sengun rebounds. I think he's got 10 every game this season versus this team. So I would look at his rebounds. They're at 10 or 11. You can get his 10 rebounds and put it with like a Cavs or OKC money line to bring the juice down to like minus 130, minus 125, somewhere around there. And Jimmy Butler, if you want a parlay piece, his steals and blocks at 2. I play LeBron steals and blocks religiously. He did cover him last game, but when these guys get into the playoffs, they just play better defense and they're more active with their hands, even if they're older. And I can see Jimmy Butler swapping down on these guys trying to force layups like Amin Thompson, Dylan Brooks trying to force the ball, driving the ball. So I would be looking at Jimmy Butler steals and blocks, Sengun rebounds. I can't really get there on Steph points. 25 is a lot. Oh, and Jabari Smith Jr. I might as well close my analysis with this. He's another guy I've mentioned 4 guys: Cole Anthony, Aaron Wiggins, Jabari Smith Jr., and Davion Mitchell. I did a parlay with each of them to score 10 points plus 1,700, put a 10th of a unit on it, so don't go crazy. And then I did a round robin with all of them to score 15 points, which is like a plus 70,000. Again, a 10th of a unit, round robin 3s and 4s. Don't go crazy if you want to tell. But Jabari Smith Jr. is a guy that I think can have a pretty good impact in this series. I think Dylan Brooks' minutes eventually goes down and Jabari Smith minutes tend to go up. So his point prop is out there at 10. I wouldn't play a solo, but I did put it as part of a blunt money bet. So Jabari Smith Jr., like him as well. There you go.
Excellent breakdown from Dream, going from series to actual game 1 to player props, man. I think this is going to look, and this is for people who don't know, this is why I asked Dream to come on the show. Because when Dream started going into, liking Sengun rebounds, I'm like, oh, that makes a ton of sense. We just saw Zach Edey get, 4,000 rebounds the other day. It's religiously something. And it's not that Golden State is necessarily even a bad rebounding team. Golden State's actually a top 5 rebounding team in the NBA. It's just that
they small.
Draymond has to, it's a smaller team, right? Quentin Post is the opposite of ever wanting to play in the post, right? So that's gonna make it tough, man. And I do think the Rockets' energy, at game 1 at the crib, understanding that they're the underdog in the series, that they're the second seed, and they're the underdog, and it's just because of the leadership and the veteran, personnel on the other team. You got, a Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr got more jewelry right now, I think, than anybody in the NBA with the rings that he won with Jordan, the rings that he won with the Golden State Warriors. He got Olympic rings. Steve Kerr, hands, toes, everything filled with jewelry. So coaching advantage, I guess, goes to him. Even though Ime Udoka is a great coach in his own right, And then, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler, playoff Jimmy. I think it's going to be a tough series. I do think it's going to be a tough series. I do slightly favor the Golden State Warriors. I do think that they'll be able to get the job done. In no way, shape, or form am I thinking it's going to be easy. But when we talk about game one, I do think Golden State going to have to go ahead and take one. I think it's got to come early. I like the way Golden State, for whatever reason, it feels like to me that they play better on the road than they play at home. 24-16, I think, against the spread at the crib. And I think it's been even better than that when you isolate the games just with Jimmy Butler in there. So I'll also go out on a limb and just share this trend as well. Home favorites of 4 points or less, they're 36-33 straight up, but only 27-39-1 against the spread. So they're covering less than 41% in the last 10 seasons. That includes some vulnerability in close matchups. I think that lends itself to a Golden State +1 in this matchup. I think Golden State got to set the tone in this series early, especially being that they lost the last one. As far as the total goes, and I didn't bet Golden State, at least not yet. Lingowick says Kerr got 9 rings. That's crazy. I thought it was more than that. But that's one fairy finger. He's just missing a pinky one. I do. So going back to the total, like Dream said, and I didn't mention this, to break the showdown, but the Warriors did finish 3-2 straight up, 4-1 against the spread against the Houston Rockets this season. The totals to Dream's points averaged 204 points, and this was before the playoffs. 204 points. The Golden State Warriors averaged 103 points per game in the five matchups. The Houston Rockets averaged 101.8. So that lets you know what you need to know about the total. To Dream's point, 4 of them did go under. There were 2 games that stayed under 2. Neither team scored 100 points. There were a total of 6 times in the 10. Both teams scoring points in general where they didn't reach 100 points. And the team that scored, if you score 106 points, you typically win this game. 4 to 5 matchups. So there is a lot to like towards the under. The last 4 have gone under the total as well. I think I'll stay off the total with it being so low, and I'll be reactionary in game 2. But I wouldn't be looking towards the over. As far as player props here, outside of Dream, talking about taking Sengun to 10 rebounds and finding something nice to parlay it with, like a money line for the Cleveland Cavaliers or the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think it's Jalen Green, man. I know Jalen Green did play really, really well. I think I wanted to fade him in that last game in Golden State. And I know if you like Houston, you have to lean on somebody like Jalen Green, because I don't think Alfred Sengun is going to be able to do it all by himself. But I'm not a Jalen Green guy. I'm just not a Jalen Green guy. Under 20.5 points is something that is on my list of things that I have circled. I do think that he's going to struggle to score the basketball. If not, this is the type of play, Dream, that if Jalen Green goes over today, I'll bet he's under the next game. Like, I think it's going to be that zigzaggy type of series for him. And it's also, I think, something that I would play every single time this series, because even if he goes over 2, he'll probably go under 4, and I'll still end up with some profit, right? I'm just not a big believer in Jalen Green, especially against a really good defensive team like the Golden State Warriors. If he had a matchup against the Memphis Grizzlies, I'd probably be playing his over, if I'm being honest. But this matchup, I'm not keen on it. I think he only went over once in the 4 matchups, maybe twice in the 4 matchups this season. I know the first game that was played, the Golden State Warriors absolutely smoked the Rockets at home. And that was the game that the Rockets came back. It ended up going to overtime back on November the 2nd. It was 127-121. I didn't go back and look at the game log, but I'm pretty sure he went over his points prop in that game. The next 3 or the next 4, he struggled. He did go over in the last game, but I'll be looking towards Jalen Green to go under. I think it's highly correlated with the Warriors to come in and steal game 1 on the road. I didn't get a chance to look at Steve Kerr's record in game 1, but I want to say that it's pretty good. I like the Warriors on the road in this spot, man. I do. Haven't bet it yet, but that's the way that I would be looking in this one. Any thoughts on any closing thoughts on this one, Dream? You got anything else?
No, I was just thinking, I wish that there was like a way to play total under points for a series. And I would be toward that. That's about it.
Do I know DraftKings sometimes offer those markets, Dream, where they'll have like a series prop. I wonder if they got a Jalen Green like his series average
No, they might have that. I was looking because Flo was telling me that was on BetMGM. I couldn't find him though.
Okay.
Average for a player on BetMGM. But he said they may be there, so I would look there. But yeah, that's another good look too.
Shout out to Flo. I did send Flo the invite. He was a little busy, wasn't able to make it today. But yeah, shout out to Flo, man. Shout out to Flo for sure. Y'all check Flo out over on YouTube and on Twitter as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will be looking for Jalen Green's series average to go under. I think that he's gonna struggle. I love it since the opposite. He likes Jalen Green to go over, or maybe this Draymond Green to go over. Also on Draymond. Dream in this matchup, like you like his assists, rebounds, points, anything at all? Do he any advantage for Draymond in this matchup?
I nothing popped for me with Draymond, and Draymond is a guy that I tend not to bet because I feel like at any moment he can be tossed or get a text. So it's tough with me. If I'm looking at anybody outside of Steph, it's just got to be playoff Jimmy, man. Playoff Jimmy. And maybe I saw them talking about Kuminga. If Kuminga actually gets minutes, he's worth a look. Kuminga kills the Rockets when he plays, but I think Kerr's gonna put him in the rotation this time, this series, and if so, when they offer points props, it'll be under 10, and Kuminga points will be worth taking every game. But yeah, I don't have a feeling on Draymond. No feeling.
Is Kuminga props open right now, Dre? Can we got Kuminga lines?
I haven't seen any, and I doubt it. Because he didn't play the last two games,
right.
Out on the floor, and I don't even know they wouldn't know where to set it. They would be at such a tough position, like they would be too exposed because people would be betting all unders.
Yeah, that's the bag.
They point probably at 7.5. People like me be betting 15 at plus 1,200. Like so, yeah, they probably gonna leave it alone.
Yeah, that's excellent, Jay. That's excellent. Excellent analysis of why the prop isn't even out. And I just checked it. I just checked it, Jay. It's not open anywhere. Like you said, it's not open. Yeah. But I do love the matchup. I remember watching Sengun get put in the basket by Kuminga, like multiple times in the same game. Like Sengun just out there looking like he was 6'1" at times. Kuminga and this was before Jimmy got there. So I do think Kerr's going to have him part of the rotation, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Golden State Warriors won based on matchups. It's all matchup dependent, right? That's what Steve Kerr is going to be looking at in this matchup. And he didn't play in the last couple games, but I think he absolutely could be a part of this one, especially if things start off a little rocky for the Warriors here, Jane.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah, okay. It was a comment that I wanted to go back to. I think it was this one right here from Chad. I think it's some back and forth here with people liking the Warriors. Some people liking the Warriors, some people liking the Rockets, and that's what the playoffs are about. Charles says GP2 finna have Jalen Green frustrated. I'm kind of thinking the same thing. 1780 Guap, you my guy, bro. But yeah, I'm just giving you my I don't really care about teams. I don't really care about who teams who and who toes I'm stepping on. I'm just giving you guys my thought process. I actually said yesterday that I didn't like the Lakers. I did not like I thought it was a good matchup for the Timberwolves, and of course we got smoked last night as well. So I slander your team, I slander my team. I'm just trying to make some money, man. Just trying to make some money at the end of the day. And this last one by Chad, he says Detroit was way more athletic and faster than the Knicks. And the playoffs experience gives you an edge, especially coaching experience. And I absolutely agree with that, Chad. It's also mentality, right? Because I know I've been here before and I've done this before. So I do agree with a couple of these comments coming in.
I don't agree with seven figures. Udoka, he may not be at. I think Udoka might be better coach than Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr is awful with his rotations.
That's a fact. He can be. He absolutely can be.
He got some X's and O's for you, but he's not a good rotational coach. Udoka is a monster, man. Udoka was a star player. He got them boys like, all right. Like, and that's why it's a little tough with Sengun. Because if Sengun not playing well, he'll sit Sengun and play Tari Eason the whole second half.
That's a fact.
Udoka is a great coach to me. He's my favorite coach in the league, man.
He knows how to get the best out of his players for sure. Yeah, I would agree with that. Chad says he loves Van Fleet under his points prop today. Didn't look at that line. And Green will feast from the free throw line. Okay. All right. Cool. I think we did a pretty good job, James. So we can get into a quick recap. I just want you to review, Dream. As you were talking, I was typing. So let me scale my thoughts over here a little bit, and then I'll move yours over so people can see the full list. And if there is something that I missed I wrote wrong, Dream, let me know and I'll update it. If anything that you want to add on this list, let me know and I'll add that as well. But in red right here, Dream didn't say he made any official plays, but if there's something that Dream is liking, it is right here. I was just kind of writing these up as Dream was talking, just kind of every game too. So hopefully that's helpful for you guys. And then my plays are over here on the right-hand side as well. And I'm probably going to pull a trigger because I want to be involved in a couple of these games today for sure. I know that when you wait till Sunday morning to bet the NBA of the day of, it's not necessarily the greatest day, especially from a side perspective. You might be able to get some player prop love. I think the player prop markets are not as volatile, but the sharps have come in. They've crushed all these lines. All the totals are way too low. So yeah, that's my thought process. And if you guys know, if you watch the show, you know I'm much more of a size and totals guy than a player prop guy. Even though we did cash Kevin Porter Jr. over his 9.5 points prop. So I think Derek White up and over 18.5 would be my favorite player prop for today. I just think that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown will be able to distribute the way that they typically do. I expect Derek White to play 30-35 minutes and absolutely be out there hounding on the defensive end as well. So probably my favorite player prop. Jalen Green would be second. You guys see the Memphis team total and the Miami team total. I gave out the numbers. Just going back, I'll review it one more time, but double-digit favorites. Not even double-digit favorites. It was one more, Dream. I don't even know if I shared this one, and that was let's see real quick. It was the teams that are rested. So teams with 5 days of rest versus teams with less than 2 days of rest. I think I did share this one. It's just been an absolute wagon to fade these teams coming off this rest disadvantage, this humongous rest disadvantage of 6 days compared to them only having 1 day. It's been really, really, really successful. 18-7 against the number, and it's typically the team typically doesn't score, only averaging 95 points in 25 matchups in that instance between 6 days of rest compared to 1, going all the way back to 2004. So yeah, I like a couple team total unders here. That's the reason why you see Memphis and Miami. I didn't bet either one of them. And I do think Golden State can go in there and steal game one. I think game one means a lot. So that would be my thought process. Real quick, before we kick it to Dream, Quincy says Banchero overall under 26.5. I would only play Paolo over, Dream. I'm not sure your thought process, but I do think that they could potentially just let Paolo get his and everybody else struggle to score the basketball. I think Paolo, the volume will be there. I think he understands that he's gonna have to be the guy to step up. And I want to say he's played pretty well against Boston, in recent matchups. I don't think that they have necessarily a one-on-one player that's going to be able to slow him down. But that's just my thought process. 27 feels about right. I don't think I would bet. What are your thoughts on this, Dream? And then let me know if I missed anything or if you want to add anything to your column over here as well.
Yeah, for me, only over Paolo. He's coming off 2 awful games, 6-17 and 4 of 13, 15 points and 17 points. So eventually the cream rises to the top. I think Paolo has a really good game today, especially if they single cover him. So I agree with over anything. And as far as those looks, I did play Sengun 10 rebounds and the Cavs money line. It's a -135.
So it's Cleveland money line. Okay.
Yeah, but 0.75 units. So you're basically risking a unit with the juice. All right. And I did play the Wiggins 8 points in OKC money line or a half a unit. And that's a -131. All right. Juicy. Sometimes it's like that with props, especially if you're trying to bring it down. But those are definitely my 2 official looks. And the rest of those, I really like maybe parlay pieces. I told you guys what I did with Cole Anthony. I kind of raised all those bench players that may get extended run or just may have a big opportunity to have a big impact. I just played them all 10 and 15. So that's really it, man. And my favorite side will probably be or total will probably be the OKC team total over. It's just a tick high, but I think they do whatever they want today against Memphis.
Absolutely. I think even if
last point.
Go ahead.
The last time everybody truly was watching OKC, don't forget what happened. The Lakers beat the heck out of them. That's the last time. That's the last image, because people really wasn't watching like that rematch. After that, people was checking for it, but it was like we already seen enough. You know what I'm saying, on national TV. The rematch was like the next couple days, and then they've been sitting players since. I think OKC's got a little chip on their shoulder because I know they they know that a lot of people think the Clippers can beat them, the Lakers can beat them. So I would expect OKC just to be dominant this series, but we'll see.
That's a fact, Dream. And to your point, just the last thing I'll mention, the Lakers won that game. Go back and check the box scores. Even before Luka got threw out in game 2, the Lakers won that. They were competing with OKC because they were knocking down threes, knocking them down. I mean, I'm talking about 70% in the first half. OKC never could creep back in the game because they couldn't stop the pick and roll, and the 3-point shots were just flowing. And I don't think Memphis is going to be able to do that. Memphis is a team that gets downhill, which is one of the reasons why I really like OKC in this spot today. Like I said, I do got an OKC ticket. I just couldn't place the bet, and the line started to move because it was live. If you watch the show from Saturday, you heard me say that I'm stopping the show so I can put this OKC ticket in because the line had just opened. So I got an OKC minus 12.5. If I had to bet it now, I would do what you said, Dream. I would go team total up and over. So I know Memphis under 107.5 this year. I do think they struggle to score. But OKC team total up and over as well. You could win 2 bets here, just playing those team totals. And that's what I'm liking, man. Shout out to Dream. We've been on for a little over an hour. My guy Dream came through, blessed us with some looks, able to talk it out, hear from Dream and, his thought process on these games. I will break it up so people can go back and, listen to the different chapters specifically. Check the resources out if you guys are interested. jaXon. Told you guys jaXon likes Corey Joseph under his points, rebounds, and assists today in a tough matchup against Boston. Outlier, Money Baller, OzJam, all of the different resources, man. Definitely help you save you a ton of time on your research and help you become more profitable with your sports betting as well. If you enjoyed the show, hit that like button, man. It's Sunday. It's Easter Sunday, 420, all that good stuff. Me and Dream on here breaking the games down for an hour. We do appreciate everybody for tapping in. Enjoy your Sundays, man, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm out.